Listen to me very carefully. You are not being punished. You, my darling, are being prepared. You're being prepared. You're not being punished. God is not punishing you. The universe is not punishing you, because that's not how life works. And if you want to view life that way, you are going to live such a miserable life. Once I changed my mindset to, I'm just being prepared, armor's being put on me, I have a shield put on me right now, and I'm just being prepared for what's to come. I stopped viewing myself as the victim, and I toughened up, and I got good at life. I got really fucking good at life. So change your mindset. You're not being punished at all. You are being prepared, and I'm going to tell you why. Welcome back to the Antisocial podcast. We're sitting in my car right now because my family is home, but I need to film this. I am sitting in front of all my neighbors' houses. Don't care if they see me. Don't care if I look crazy. I could give less of a crap right now because I'm going through stuff. right now. I'm going to talk about 3 examples in my life that I think are pretty prominent that really changed my perspective from like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? And then I flip my mindset to, no, this is preparing me in some way. I don't know how this is preparing me, but it is preparing me. And I'm just going to trust the process and know that everything is happening for a reason. And then once I flip my mindset, all of a sudden, everything did happen for a reason. And I was so happy that I started viewing life that way, because I no longer became a victim to my life. Life wasn't happening to me. Sorry to be spiritual, but it was happening through me. So I'm going to explain those examples and stories to you, and hopefully give you a new perspective on life and make you feel better if you're going through something tough. Because trust me, at my ripe little age of 21, I'm definitely going through some tough things. I'm going to start off with a story that I'm currently living through. I'm not going to shine a lot of light on it, because I kind of would love for it to starve and die. And then maybe one day I'll talk about it. I definitely will talk about it one day, because it's a bit crazy. And I think what's happening right now is insane. It's insane. And I'm really trying to see all sides and perspectives, but it's extremely hard when no one is seeing my side and perspective. Let's just get into it. I'm going through a bit of a mini cancellation on TikTok right now. And someone that has a lot of followers made a video on me making a ton of accusations, throwing out really intense names and words, just a lot of intense things that were not true. And it was very triggering and very shocking, because they're not true. They're not true. And I kind of just sat here being like, how are you seeing this? I was so dumbfounded and so like mind blown, because it felt like someone was using their platform to attack me. And well, I mean, essentially that is kind of what happened. This person didn't make one video. They made 6 videos, and then I ended up blocking them because I was like, I cannot engage with this anymore. It's making my nervous system crumble. It killed my appetite. I could not eat. Like, it made my nervous system die. Okay? This person did that, and it was very hard for me to accept that they were doing this to me, and to get kind of this, I'm gonna say this, and if people from this person's page see this, you're gonna hate that I'm saying this, but this is how I feel. Hey, I have my opinions. Let me have my opinions. It felt like a hate train was started on me, because it was like my DMs, my comment section were getting flooded with, hey, go KYS. Hey, you're a P word. You're a this, you're a that. It's intense. I know I shouldn't even be saying this, because I don't really want to like ignite fire to it, but I'm trying to like tell you guys, like, the accusations that are being thrown at me are so crazy, and the hate that I'm getting right now over something that I meant to be so innocent. I posted a video that was meant to be very innocent, and then I tried to explain my side, and it's kind of like a narrative was said about me, and everyone ran with the narrative and did not care what I had to say. Did not care if I meant it to be innocent, did not care that I apologized, did not care about the context. No one cared. They just immediately ran with what this creator said about me. And her video went viral. My original video went viral, and then her response to my video went viral. She made multiple videos about me. I made 2 responses. One response I took down because I realized it was in bad taste. I shouldn't have said that, and I admit that. Then my second response was like me explaining the context and apologizing, and still everyone did not care. And even though I tried to explain and kind of not say sorry in the sense of like just say sorry so everyone would shut up, but like say sorry and like I really didn't I didn't mean it to be that way, you know? Yeah, I'm not gonna I already realize I'm already getting too much into it, but essentially, to say it very plainly, I did something that I didn't realize was in poor taste, and a lot of people don't see it in poor taste, but I guess for some people it is, and I am viewing it. I'm trying to like figure out my words before I say it so you're seeing it in real time. But I realized that the video I posted, a lot of people found it funny. A good amount of people didn't. And I can see both sides now. And at the time I didn't realize that when I posted the video. And even though I'm trying to apologize and give context, there was a narrative set about me with insane, very strong accusations, and everyone is running with that narrative. And so I kind of sat here for a second with all the anxiety I was going through with getting all these hate comments and all of this, like, I'm telling you, like, my DMs, I have screenshots, I've documented everything just kind of for my own, like, safety. I was very, like, anxious, and I was like, I need to document this. God forbid, I don't know, I've been going through a lot. I've been sued before, so like I'm just documenting just in case. I have so many, like hundreds and hundreds of DMs of people calling me these horrible things and telling me to KMS, and I stopped reading them. At a certain point, I'm sure people have said worse, and it got to a point where they've been reaching out to my personal stuff. I had to like do a clean slate of my Instagram and go through everything and like delete stuff, and I was getting very fearful. And I sat there and I was like, did I ask for this? Like, genuinely, did I ask for this? And then immediately I was like, no, this is preparing me. View this as delusion. You can view me as delusional. I don't essentially care. I don't care if you view me as delusional, because I am. Because delusion is what has gotten me through so much of my life, has gotten me through the worst situations of my life, and I've been through a lot. I have. I'm not going to sit here and say people have been through worse, because I know people have. I've been through a lot, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that straight up to your face. And what has gotten me through hasn't been other people. I haven't had a lot of people to lean on. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I haven't had friends to lean on. I haven't really essentially had family to lean on. I know they're there. I'm not going to throw all my shit on them, you know what I mean? What I've had to lean on was straight up my mind and my delusion of that, you know what? This is preparing me for something. Like, God, the universe, whoever is out there, wouldn't put me through this for no fucking reason. It has to be for something. It can't just be because, you know, shitty things happen. And sometimes I do believe that, like, sometimes shitty things happen just for no reason, but not for me. Hey, straight up delusion, I know. Not for me. I think that this situation has taught me a lot, and it's prepared me that, like, if I do want to stick with this, and I do want to grow on social media, which has been happening. I've had, in the past, like 3 months, I've had multiple videos get hundreds of thousands of views. This video I posted that obviously gained a lot of backlash. People don't like that I'm saying backlash. They're saying it's criticism, backlash, whatever it is. It got 2 million views. That's the most a video of mine has ever gotten. But I've had quite a few videos get 600K, 800K, 400K, whatever. That's a lot of views. I'm not used to that. And if I want to continue growing and continue posting, I need to realize that this happens to a lot of people. They post things that are in bad taste and they don't realize they may have innocent intentions and be, unknowledgeable and ignorant to certain situations, and then have to learn from it. No one is perfect. And then I also have to realize that there are people that are going to take a narrative and run it to the fucking ground and not go into the facts and not treat me like a human or treat other people like a human and not care what I have to say. They're just going to see a video and run with it and run with these accusations. And it happens to so many people. And I am guilty of seeing a video of something, like you just see a 20-second video of something that makes someone look really bad, and you don't realize that like that person's actually innocent. Stuff is so distorted on the internet. Distortion is such a huge thing on the internet, and it's such a shame. And I knew that before. And I, didn't really care because it's the internet. It's the internet. It's just how it is. It's how the game works. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But now, being the person on the receiving end of all this distortion and all this hate and all of this, because it is hate. I don't care if you disagree. This is hate. This isn't just criticism of like, hey, your video was in poor taste. This is people telling me to KMS. Sorry, I don't know if I could say that on YouTube. This is people telling me to KMS. This is people calling me horrible names. Not just names of like, you're ugly, which I have been called, whatever. Call me ugly. I'd prefer you to call me ugly than the names I'm being called. I'm being called for something that I didn't know was bad when I posted it. And people are also wondering why the video is still up. I don't want to delete it because it's already out there. Multiple people have made reactions to the video, and me deleting it, I feel as if it's showing that I'm guilty. And I already made my apologies. I already did this and that. I already explained the context. I'm not deleting the video. The video I did delete was my first response, which was kind of like a heated response that I made to the situation. I know I'm already explaining the situation too much. Let me stop. I'll get into it one day. If you want to dig deep, you can find it somewhere. Go find the lore yourself and make sure you find the facts. Make sure you find the facts before you just see all the bad narratives. That's another thing. I think it's really telling, at least for me, that I have only one response video up explaining my context. I didn't throw any accusations or names. I didn't do anything like that. I just explained the context, apologized for what I felt needed an apology, and kind of said it's not essentially fair that these really strong accusations are being said about me, but I guess everyone has their opinions. And that was my response video. And this other girl made numerous videos on me, and now I'm having multiple people making videos on me. And I just kind of told myself, it's preparation, baby. If I gotta be delusional, I gotta be delusional. This is preparation because this is essentially what I signed up for. That's another thing people are telling me, is that like, this is what you signed up for. You want to do it? Hey, this is it. You signed up for this. You want to be a creator. You want to have a lot of followers. You want that level. You want to reach that level. Hey, this happens to people at that level. And I sat there and I was like, can I handle this? And I said yes. I said yes because I've handled worse, essentially worse. I've handled being sued twice before I was 21. I've handled people bullying me to my face. Quite a bit of cyberbullying. Get it told to your face. I think that kind of changes the game a little bit. Oh, it's getting cold. Sorry, guys. Florida right now is going through like a cold thing. I don't even know how to say it. I'm like freezing right now. It's like freaking 45 degrees outside and I'm sitting in my car. Anywho, yeah, essentially that's the situation, and I already explained too much, even though I said I wasn't going to, but I'm a yapper, whatever. That's why I have a podcast, whatever. Yeah, I think, like I always say in every video, I do these episodes because I feel as if something always prompts them, And this is what's prompted this episode. This episode was supposed to be like my ins and outs for 2026. I almost said 2024 and 5. 2026. Ins and outs. And I will probably still do that to lighten the mood. But no. I jumped in and I said, girl, I'm talking about this because it's a hard lesson I had to learn. But it's one that changed my perspective fully. I'm not being punished. Because if I start viewing my life as like everything bad that happens to me is a punishment, then that's such a horrible way to live. And I refuse to live like that because then I will hate my life. And I'm not doing that. So I'm being prepared. I'm being prepared for what I signed up for. I'm being prepared for what I want, which is I want people to see me. I want to be perceived, which I know I probably will take that back in a few years. I want this. This is essentially what like I said, what I signed up for. So it's just preparing me. Yeah. Anywho, and also one last thing, a big misconception. I'm not monetized off that 2 million video. It's not a minute long. Stop saying I'm getting money off that. Y'all are wrong about that. Straying away from that situation, that's preparing me for everything that I want to achieve in life, to put it lightly. Another thing I went through last year that really, I think, changed my perspective. I think it was my first perspective shift. Like a big event that happened to me that really, I had to engrave it in my brain. That's, life is not happening to me. Everything's happening kind of for me, and, everything's happening for a reason. Whatever. I got in a car accident. I've talked about this before. I don't think I've talked about it in great detail, and I still won't talk about it in great detail because I think the situation is still ongoing, even though it happened almost a year ago. I got in a little car accident, a little fender bender, a little tap, okay? Little tap, and I'm getting sued. Actually, I don't even know. Wait, can I even put that in? Maybe I'm not going to put that in. Essentially, I'm getting sued. I don't know how much I could say. That's all I'm going to say because I'm afraid to talk about it because it's a thing. That situation was so horrible to go through because it felt like the entire world was collapsing on me. Everyone was so angry at me, and I understand why. My whole family was so upset with me. I just turned off my car. What was I saying? I don't even remember. My head hurts. That situation was so hard for me because everyone was very upset with me and was very how could you let this happen? And I'm not mad at them for that. I think obviously it could have been handled differently. I could have handled it differently. Obviously, I could have not gone in the accident, but whatever, it happened. But it just caused a lot of stress on everyone. And then the added suing aspect was so I won't get into it. I won't get into that because I don't know how much I could say, but trust me, it was a very much taking advantage situation. It caused me to be in such a large amount of stress where I could not get out of bed for days. I could not eat. I could not talk to anyone. I had never gone through a depressive state like that in my life. I just felt like the whole world was crumbling down in front of my eyes. I could not see past it. It was horrible. And the feelings I felt in that moment, I kind of felt again with this new situation that's happening with TikTok. My stomach was on the floor. My gut was on the floor. Everything. It was so horrible. For a few days, weeks, whatever it was, I was sitting there and I was like, what the hell did I do to deserve this? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Who gets sued before they're legally able to drink? I don't think many people. I don't think that's a normal experience for many people, but it's happening to me. And I went through the stages. I went through the stages of grief. I was super upset about it. I was like, this can't be happening. And then I was like, you know what? I accept it. There's nothing I could do. Fuck it. I can't do anything about it. It's happening. It's here. It's I can't tell the guy to stop. He's not gonna stop. And then finally I was like, you know what? This is preparing me for something. This is preparing me for something. I'm not going to view myself as a victim because I'm not. It ruined a lot for me. Ruined my summer. Ruined my relationship with a lot of people. It made me afraid to drive. It made me afraid to do so much. And he took control of my life without even being in my life. He was in my life but not physically there. I was just like, I'm done. And I told my family, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done letting this guy control my life. I'm done letting this guy have power over me. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim to this situation. I'll get through it. Whatever outcome happens, I will get through it, good or bad, because worse has happened to other people. I can get through anything. This isn't the end of it. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. So I started telling myself, this is preparing me for something. This has to be preparing me for something. I learned so much about insurance through that situation. I learned so much about legal stuff. I learned a lot about people. I think I learned trust no one. That's not true. I still trust people, but I just got very careful with who I trust. And I viewed people a lot differently after. Like, I was looking at everyone differently, like just random people on the street. I was just looking at them so, like, you know, the situation just taught me so much. And I think that was the preparation for me. It just taught me so much. I no longer viewed the situation as like, of course this is happening to me. Of course, like, I would get sued before I'm 21, before I could even drink. Of course this, of course that. It was more, let me learn. Let me learn all about insurance. Let me learn all about this legal stuff. Let me learn about people and their motives. And I had to go to all these places by myself for the first time, like the court office, which is like an hour away, bro. It's like really annoying. I had to like do all this stuff. Doesn't matter. I learned a lot, essentially, is what I'm saying, from the situation. That made me feel so much better, and that made me get over it. Even though it's still ongoing, even though stuff still comes up from it, and it still like makes me a little anxious at times, I immediately shut that down and I calm my nervous system, and I'm like, you know what? What's to be learned? And I feel a lot better from it. Okay, the last situation I will talk about, which is a little lighter than those two. Those are like very hyper-specific situations to my life. This one, I've mentioned it, of course, before, is losing friends. Losing friends and how tough that can be. I can't talk about relationships. I really want to, but I've never been in a relationship. I've been in quite a few situationships, but I've never been in a relationship. And so what I know a lot of is friendships. That's what I'm going to speak on. One day I'll speak on relationships when I feel more comfortable. Situationships, maybe? I don't know. But friendships is what I feel comfortable speaking on because I feel like I have a lot to say on them for a long time. And I'm talking pre-K. Pre-K is when the friend shit started for me. I would lose friends. And I'm sure there's a variety of reasons. I'm sure it's me. I'm sure it's them. I'm sure it's we don't match. Could have been something I've said at the time. Could have been something they've said and I cut them off because I used to be very quick to cut people off. We could have just, like I said, not matched energetically. Like, whatever it was, I just felt that I was always losing friends. Like, they were dropping like flies all the time out of my life. And I never understood why. And for a very long time, when I was younger and like growing up and going through school, I would always like tell my mom and tell my parents and kind of tell myself like the age-old question, what did I do to deserve this? All I wanted to do was love people, was have that kind of best friend relationship that was portrayed in the movies and the films and the TV shows where you could tell them anything and you guys could go and hang out and be best friends and share clothes and do each other's hair. I always wanted that, and it felt like everything I did would drive these people away for no reason. Maybe it was for a reason and I just couldn't see it. Whatever it was. I'm not here to dissect that right now. That's for another episode or for my therapist. But yeah, I don't know. It was tough. It was definitely tough. And I would always question, like, is this just my curse? Is this a curse? Because I'm cursed. I have no friends. I'm fucking cursed. And then I think finally in high school, I like sat with myself and I was like, I can't be cursed. I can't be cursed anymore. I just haven't found my people. And I'm thinking too negatively about this. And if I'm cursed, then my life's gonna fucking suck. because what a miserable way to live your life if you just say that. I think when I see people saying things like, I have the worst luck with men and this and that, it automatically makes me so annoyed. And it makes me so like, girl, just shut up. Because truly, words are power, not even in a spiritual sense. Whatever you say is what you think internally. Whatever you say about yourself in those situations, it's clear that's what you're thinking internally. Are you getting what I'm saying? I hope that's making sense. And so when people say things like, I just have the worst luck with men, like, guys don't like me, I'm not pretty enough. It's like, why would you say that? I just would never understand. And I get it. Like, there's low self-esteem. There's, like, low confidence, whatever. And not everyone has the highest confidence in the world. But it's, why would you constantly say that? Does that not make you feel like shit? If I ever said that, I would feel like shit. I just never was the type of person to say that stuff. I would maybe joke about it in, like, freshman year of high school. I'd be like, ugh, my ass is so flat. And then I immediately stopped saying that when I realized it's not fucking funny. People would say it about me and it would make me feel bad. So then I would say it, but then it just wasn't funny anymore. I was like, this isn't funny, so I'm going to stop saying it. And if I'm like the butt of the joke because of my body or because of like whatever, it's actually not fucking funny. And so when people still make that joke in like their adult age, like when people still make jokes like that about themselves, or they still, not even jokes, like when they still just talk about themselves like that at their adult age, I get annoyed, but I get annoyed because I'm upset for them. Because why? Life is so much more than that. And I just want to fix them. I just want to fix them. And I try to tell them, like, no, that's not true. That's not true. Like, you're beautiful. You're this, you're that. Like, life's not about that. But most of the time, they don't fucking listen. They're just so deeply ingrained with those thoughts. And it's so upsetting to me. And I genuinely don't even know why I went on this rant about that. Friends, something about friends. It was hard for me to make a lot of friends. For a while, it was like, what was my curse? I'm cursed. I must be cursed. And then I realized, no, there is no goddamn curse. I just haven't found my people and I'm just being prepared. I'm being prepared in some way. I'm still trying to find out what I'm being prepared for, but I think it's taught me a lot. I think knowing that you're not being punished and you're being prepared, and even if you don't want to view it as being prepared, you don't have to view it as you're being prepared. View it as a lesson of some sort. I think even just having that little mental switch of not everything is bad, there's something to be learned from every single thing you go through is so amazing. It's so amazing because every negative thing I go through, I've always learned from it. I'm like thinking about it. Has there been a situation where I haven't learned from it? And no, I can always learn something from everything, every situation, big and small. There's always something to be learned. And maybe that's a bit delusional. Maybe I'm always just like pulling at something to be learned, but then I don't view that as bad. What is bad about being curious? What is wrong about viewing everything as glass half full and not being negative about everything? I think negative people are so draining. And I used to be negative, back in high school when I was going through a lot. And I'm still going through a lot now. I explained it in this video. But I think having that mindset like switch has helped me get through my life, because no one's going through your life except for yourself. That was reinforced for me with this situation that I'm currently going through with this whole TikTok thing, was that I could tell people this situation. I could tell my family, I could tell my therapist, I could tell my friends, whatever, but it doesn't matter because they're not going through it. They can sit here and be like, you're in the right, you're in the wrong, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry you're going through this, whatever. They still aren't the ones going through it. They can't feel my anxiety. They can't feel my pain. They can see the comments. They can't feel how that makes me feel. Getting numerous comments of people telling you to off yourself, someone can read that and be like, whoa, that's intense. But being on the receiving end, it does something to you. But I think I've already built up such a wall to all of that from hate I've gotten in the past. It's never been to this scale, of course, but I've gotten hate in the past for my videos. That's not new to me. I've been on the internet for a while. But then also hate I've gotten in person, like just being a student, just being out in the world, I think the only way you can get through life is with yourself and with having a good mindset. I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time. I'm saying you need to just change your mindset and realize you're not a victim to your reality. You are just being prepared. You're being prepared for something. Everything happens for a reason. And you know, my little TikTok cancellation, what is that preparing me for? It's preparing me for the millions of followers I'm going to have in the future. If this doesn't end my career before it even starts, which is an actual fear of mine. See, it's like the delusion creeping in. I don't even know, guys. My head hurts so bad. I could keep talking, but I really just feel like I have nothing else to say. And I think what I want to talk about so badly is the situations. And I can't. I know I shouldn't, so I'm not going to. I feel like I've already spilled too much. I don't want to reignite any flame with the situation. I think one day in the future, if it ever gets brought up again, God forbid it doesn't, but if it does, then that's when I'll lay out the facts and lay out everything and really share my piece. But essentially, this podcast episode isn't, hey, like, I'm a victim, here's my situation, understand my perspective. It's more of like, here's a new, or understand what I'm going through. That's not what I'm saying in this podcast episode. It's more of like, here's a perspective shift for you. Here's how I'm getting through this. Maybe it can help you with whatever you're going through. That's what I'm trying to do for you here. Yeah, so that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys soon. I just came back from my trip from San Diego and from the West Coast. I flew by myself, so some video will be about that very soon. I'm thinking of doing like a what I learned traveling alone, because I learned a lot on that trip. I learned a lot about traveling, but then I also learned a lot about myself. I just keep learning. God, I literally just learn all the time. I don't know if that's normal for people, but I'm just always learning. Like, is that normal for people to view every situation as like, this is teaching me something? Because that's how I view everything. It's kind of exhausting sometimes to view everything that you're going through in every situation, good, bad, and normal. Like, it could just be me driving and I'm like, what is this teaching me? It's a bit exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. It's very helpful at times. I've explained why, but it's also just very like, okay, do I need to learn right now? But I will not take back what I said of like, it's helped me through so much. It's helped me like save myself, because no one else can save you. So yeah. Okay, well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I kind of like love filming in my car because I feel like I can just talk freely. Like, even though all my neighbors, I'm saying like all my neighbors can see me, no one gives a fuck. I've had like people walk past my car already and I don't care. It's just my head hurts pretty bad right now. I think it's because it's so bright. So yeah. And my face is like getting red because it's... Okay, it was like cold before and now all my talking is making it hot. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I will see you guys next week or whenever I film my next video. I love you all so much. I will see you guys soon. Mwah. Bye now.